Today we're going to discuss a tale of two disasters, one of which is the LA wildfires, the other of which is Hurricane Helene. For a little background on both, in case you aren't up to date or you've forgotten, Hurricane Helene made it further inland at the level of power that it had, which other hurricanes had never managed to do. It retained a lot of its strength, whereas other hurricanes have made it to the mountains, but never made it to the mountains with quite as much strength. This is largely due to the speed with which the hurricane swept through the Carolinas and Georgia. Hurricane Helene was very fast, which is not unusual, but the fact that it was fast and powerful and didn't reduce in power fast enough led to the disasters that we saw in the mountains of North Carolina, Georgia, etc. The Appalachian Mountains were soaked, and since that land is not made to withstand that, mudslides wiped entire towns off the face of the earth. Entire towns gone. The disaster is, frankly, one of the worst that the East Coast has seen. I don't think there was this much devastation since even when the hurricane made it all the way up to New York, of all places. New York. Oh, hurricanes. New York doesn't have to worry about hurricanes. That's a problem for Florida. Except, no. New York did get its taste of hurricanes, but I digress. The unique combination of speed and power with Helene caused mass devastation that was pretty much unprecedented, although not entirely. But the scale really is what makes it truly terrifying. Even now, many months later, as of this recording, there are thousands upon thousands of people who are living in tents. Just makeshift structures, all kinds of government mishandling and mismanagement in attempts to fix things. People who tried to bring tiny homes to the area were told they weren't allowed to because they would not be given a permit by the government for it. So basically, the relief has been stymied every step of the way. But most critically, the federal government did very little to attempt to go in and help. The entire purpose of FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Administration, is to go in and help people during these things. And guess what? Yeah, eventually FEMA got there, screwed up a whole bunch of other people's efforts to rescue people, told people they couldn't do things, and just generally did a real bad job of helping people out. FEMA workers were, in some cases, found to be intentionally avoiding anybody who had a Trump sign anywhere in their yard or house because, I guess they're aggressive, but the point is, they were avoiding people with political signs of a certain stripe, and that is going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. During a natural disaster, we need to come together, ignore our petty differences, and help each other out so that we can survive and find all of our missing family members and pets and everything. It's not exactly a time to be playing political football. What kind of financial assistance did these people who were displaced by the hurricane get? A loan. A $750 loan was offered to the people. That's right, person who just lost everything. If you'd like $750 to help start rebuilding, we'll be glad to loan it to you and you can pay us back. You can give that money back to us later. So we're not giving you any help. We're just going to give you a loan. We're going to put you further in debt. You've only lost everything you own. So why not go further in debt? To the federal government, no less. But wait, we haven't talked about the other disaster, the Los Angeles wildfires. For years prior to these wildfires, Donald Trump was warning the people of Los Angeles and California more generally. You've got to start managing your forests. You've got to start doing pretty basic fundamental forestry. You've got to clear brush. You've got to get the dead stuff off the forest floor. You've got to make fire breaks. You have to do basic stuff. Controlled burns, you name it. However, California is more concerned with two things than with actually managing forests. One, making sure that some random species of whatever is as comfortable as possible. How? By dumping all of the water in the reservoirs to make sure that whatever this random species of thing is as comfortable as possible. And two, embezzling funds. See, millions, and I mean hundreds of millions of dollars have been mysteriously vanished from all of the money that California is supposed to use to deal with this fire stuff. You know, the fire stuff. The things that aren't really a big deal. You know, it's not like wildfires have ever been in the news in California. Oh, wait, they have, haven't they? But for some reason, the more people look into it, the more people realize the money was allocated and just sort of vanished. Nobody really knows where all the money went. Money was slashed from the fire budget, $50 million or so. Where'd the money go? Why was it slashed? Who knows? Nobody knows where the money went, but they know one thing. It didn't go where it was supposed to go. It didn't go to stop the wildfires. Oh, and guess what? The wildfires happened. California has this problem all the time. It's not exactly a tropical place. You know, they have water problems all the time. They have wildfires break out almost yearly. It's a bit cyclical, but wildfires are not some sort of unknown. It's not some sort of chance occurrence that no one would ever be prepared for, like massive ice storms taking out the Texas power grid. No, California knows that there are wildfires every year, basically. They know that this is a risk. There's no reason that they wouldn't know that this was a risk. So, for years, Donald Trump warned them, and it's not just Donald Trump, a lot of people tried to warn California, the government, hey, your place is going to burn if you don't take care of it. You've got to sweep up these pine needles, bro. And it's all just going to fall apart. It's all going to catch fire one day and you won't be able to control it. Ironically, though there's no hurricane, what we've seen is a perfect storm of the fire hydrants literally going dry because they dumped all this water from these reservoirs right when the fires happen. And the fires, and just, there's so much fuel because, we wouldn't want to disrupt the natural order of things. Oh, that'd be terrible. So California essentially voted for what they got. Los Angeles voted for what they got. You vote these incompetent idiots back in because, other politicians are bad, but my politicians are fine. The guys that I voted for before, they're okay. We keep them in. That's fine. It's everybody else that's the problem, but I'll keep voting for my guy. Even though my guy is one of the ones that is responsible for this, I'll keep voting my guy in because there's no way that anybody I voted for would have made a mistake. No way. I'm going to change my vote and admit that I chose badly. I wouldn't want to do that. No, I'm going to double down. Well, congratulations. You doubled down and now your house is burned down. Now, Patrisse Cullors' Black Lives or Buy Large Mansions, 2 of those 3 large mansions are now ashes. A whole bunch of Hollywood movie stars' homes, ashes. Guys, I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth it to own those evil right-wing chuds. You owned the right-wingers. You kept that nice progressive policies like we are the enlightened ones. Except for some reason we can't seem to stop our houses burning down despite years of notice and despite centuries, really, of forest management knowledge and experience. The Native Americans, long before we ever showed up to the United States, long before Europeans or Spanish or whatever showed up, they were doing the same thing. They were doing controlled burns. They were managing the forests so that they wouldn't have an uncontrolled forest fire situation. How come they knew what to do, but you don't? Well, the truth is you knew what to do, but there are too many of these people who think they're so brilliant that just, let's embezzle funds. Let's steal from everybody. Let's do dumb things in the name of some good cause because heaven help the idea that we might be prepared for, something that might cause a human tragedy. Nope, got to make sure that some fish somewhere is comfy by dumping all the water we would use to fight the fires. So, the LA wildfires were caused by leftist mismanagement. Full stop. There is no other cause. Yes, I know the fires are probably caused by some natural reason, but the point is, all they had to do was a little cleanup to make sure that it wouldn't spread if it did catch. And they didn't, and it spread. And then, because of their gross mismanagement, they didn't have any water to spray at it either. Oh well. But what was the federal government's response to that? What do you think the federal government did? Because with the hurricane, they basically said, we'll give you a really, really crappy loan that you'll have to pay back, and we'll avoid you if you didn't vote the way we think you should have. What do you think happened with LA? Boy, oh boy, this is why I'm angry. The feds vowed that they will help with all of the efforts to rebuild. Biden said the federal government will pay for 100% of the initial rebuilding efforts in Los Angeles to recover from the fire. Where was that when the Appalachian Mountains got washed away? And don't give me this crap about how, oh, it's right-wingers. Yeah, we don't care. Asheville is a massive, deep blue dot in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains. It's a big place, a big, very left-wing city. I have personally photographed protesters there, and I liked Asheville. I mean, obviously not for the leftist weirdos, but for the other parts of the culture, it was an interesting place. Asheville, trashed. Did you see the federal government step up and go, hey, we're going to give you guys in Asheville 100% of what is needed to start rebuilding everything? No. A bunch of Hollywood pricks in LA are way more valuable than a bunch of people in North Carolina. We see the writing on the wall. This is the two-tiered system that everybody hates so much. If you live in North Carolina and befall a massive natural tragedy that's no fault of your own, you don't get any help. But if you get everything gone by your own actions, by your own choices, the people you voted for, the choices they made on your behalf, the people you wanted to run things, all your choices led to the problem, and you lose everything. Feds are like, no, too big to fail. No, 100%. Nope, we're going to take care of you, rich Los Angeles prick. But hey, you know, North Carolina guy, you too close to the country redneck hick bumpkins in the Appalachian Mountains. We can't have that. We can't have that. No. Don't touch that money. If you touch that money, us feds, we're gonna get you. No, but we'll loan you some. We'll loan you less than half a month's rent. That'll help, right? Oh, and you got to pay it back with interest, by the way. It's so scummy. I hate it. It makes me so angry. Upset, I would even say, to see people treated this way. What LA burns themselves, oh, we'll pay for it. North Carolina flushed out for no fault of their own. Oh no money for you, no help for you. You're on your own, screw you. But the cherry on top, this right here may be the most annoying thing about it to me, beyond the federal government's response. What happens when we look at the LA wildfires? We go, well, you should have managed things better. You knew. Everybody knew. You were warned publicly. Oh no, but you got to own Donald Trump. Got to do the opposite of whatever Trump says. Trump says, hey, don't leave that there. Your house will burn down. You go, oh, I'm gonna leave that there just to spite you, Donald Trump, you McTrumper Drumpy, and your house burns down. I mean, it's common sense. It's not a political thing. It's just like, hey, if you leave that gasoline and that torch near each other, it's probably going to blow up. Oh, I'm not going to do that because you told me to. Even though, well, it's your house, whatever. Poof! But we rightly call out these people for making the choices that resulted in a disaster. But these are the same people who called out the North Carolinians that got flushed away, that saw their family members and their livelihoods and their entire towns washed downstream. through no fault of their own. They smugly danced on the graves of the victims of the hurricane. And what is the reason? Oh, before Hurricane Helene, it was unprecedented. No one ever thought that a storm like that could ever make it to the mountains, even though 3 or 4 already have in recorded history. Hugo in 1989 or whatever, there are several more, but but it's unprecedented. So what they're saying is that, hey, these people in the Appalachian Mountains, they lean right? So they must be anti-climate change or climate change deniers. Well, climate change causes a big storm, and big storm washed away your house and killed your loved ones. I'll bet you'll think twice about that climate change stuff now, won't you? Won't you, righty? Won't you rethink the climate change thing, right-wingers? Yeah. It was no one ever would have thought this would happen, but we sure showed you with the climate change thing, didn't we? Even though there's no proof, and even if the climate change thing was really a thing, there's nothing that some rednecks in the mountains could have done to stop China from dumping pollutants into the ocean, to stop China from burning stuff, stop India from burning stuff. So yeah, I have a problem with that. It is a tale of 2 disasters. But the people who could have controlled something, they get their mistakes paid back. It's almost an allegory for real life. If you have a rich family, they'll pay for you if you make a mistake. So you can afford to make mistakes. Stupid mistakes that were entirely preventable. But if you come from a poor family, a poor background, you can't afford to make mistakes, because then you'll fall off a fiscal cliff, and now you can't afford anything. Isn't it so nice to see that the federal government is enforcing the haves and have-nots system that we all cannot stand seeing and feel is a fundamental injustice, inequity, whatever. And that's the funniest thing about it. Leftists are by far the loudest about, if you have wealth, you probably didn't earn it. If you have wealth, you stole it from someone else. I'm totally a socialist, communist, whatever. If you have wealth, then you only obtain wealth unethically. Yet here they are, like, town full of socialists that say that wealth is only obtained, through bad behavior. By the way, you're wealthy. You did something stupid and your house is gone. But we'll bail you out because you're wealthy and voted for us. Oh, okay. Well, we'll quietly accept that. But then these other people are like, well, I'm not wealthy, and my house got washed away by a storm that I had no control over. Oh, no, you don't understand. You didn't vote for Biden, and even if you did, your friends didn't, the ones around you. So, and you're poor, so we don't care about you, so you get no help. Double standards. If they didn't have double standards, they'd have no standards at all. This fire thing only gets worse. The more that comes out about it, the more we realize just how bad everything really is over there. So Californians, when you're not busy running off, being wokeists, flying to places that don't have these bad policies and then destroying them by going, well, it would be nice if this place was more equitable and blah, 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 and cared about fish and thus dumped the reservoirs like in California. Before you go somewhere else and burn the places that didn't vote stupid down, why don't you think about this? Think about this before you keep voting in these psycho professional politicians that embezzle all the funds and dump all the reservoirs and go off to some... What the hell does the Los Angeles mayor need to be at an inauguration in the country of Ghana for anyway? Could someone please explain that to me? Why? Los Angeles mayor, some random African country inauguration. I don't get it. But that was more important than being there in the middle of a wildfire. Whatever. Well, you get what you vote for. You get what you vote for. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Take care.